Hi. I'm so excited. It's a beautiful Saturday morning with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. In case you just tuned in, it's Precious TV and it's the book review show. I've been longing so much for this. And if you know that you just tuned in, today's your first time, congratulations, because it's my first time on air as well, on TV. Yeah, it's the book review show, which aired on Sweet Melodies 94.3 FM. But hold up, we'll be on Sweet Melodies, it will be recorded as well, but we are live on Precious TV. We're also live on Facebook, so you just go to Precious TV on Facebook and you're just going to get the link. It's live on Facebook. And good news is it's repeated this and every Sunday. That's tomorrow 2 to 3 p.m. So about the show, I have an interesting guest. Well, I have two interesting guests here with me, and we are going to discuss two wonderful books. I don't know if my cameraman can zoom in to this book that I'm holding by a very renowned life coach. I'm honored to have him here in the studio. He goes by the name of Mr. Richard Kwarteng Ahenkorah, and we'll be having a wonderful discussion. We'll also be having a book by Miss Jessie Addo-Okyere on cooking jollof with Jesus. I know that title, you know, just sends some thoughts in your mind, but we're going to have an interesting discussion. I have Mr. Richard Kwarteng Ahenkorah. We had a few technical challenges, but man, we're back, grace and thanks to God. So I have him here in the studio with me, Mr. Richard Kwarteng. Good morning.
Good morning. Carol, how are you?
I'm very well. And how are you too?
I'm awesome, thank you.
Wow. So you authored this wonderful piece, Your Journey to the Top.
Yeah.
Journey to the top,
yeah.
Not down there.
Nah.
Okay, so I mean, before we go on, I know you're a life coach, you are into financial services, you lecture, you do a whole lot. I can see the shiny ring there. You're married as well. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself before we delve into it?
Yes, I'll try. I'm Richard Kwarteng Ahenkorah, as just mentioned, and I'm currently the managing director of All Time Finance.
Not the drinking chocolates.
No.
Okay.
So I'm the managing director of All Time Finance. I'm also a lecturer with the Accra Business Institute, where I lecture in strategic leadership, and I do corporate trainings. And most importantly, what I like doing best is to also give opportunities to the youth. And I'm married to my beautiful wife Sarah, and I have three children, 2 girls and then 1 boy.
You mentioned them in the book.
Yes, I did. Yeah, Kithania, Drusilla, and then Rain. Yeah. Okay,
so now let's go into writing. Let's go into reading. I think was in the first chapter you discussed, I don't recall whether it's the first or the second, that readers are leaders or vice versa.
Yeah.
So let's go into the book. Why did you decide to write? You're a reader yourself,
yes,
I believe, an ardent one.
Yes.
But why did you decide to write this book? You're into financial services. Why didn't you write about money, how to make money, how to control the economy?
Wonderful.
But
wonderful. I think last week, for example, I did a certain article on fintech, financial technology, on BNFT. So I do these things. But personally, there's a certain gap. When people get into the workplace and even start their career, they want something to guide them. And sometimes they don't have it. So, yes, I am into finance. Yes, I could do a lot in there. But I believe that when the people have a certain mindset, whatever they intend to do, whether in banking, whether in insurance, whether in medicine, whether in education, even in media, whatever they want to do, they have something that guides them. So the whole idea was to present a certain map before they enter into the woods, because the woods, you know, it's like the forest, and it's deadly and dangerous. You should know where to step, where not to.
Indeed.
You should know the obstacles on the way, you don't go back, you don't go around them, you confront them, you go through it, because it's part of the experience. Remember, I mentioned that the maker the experience, the better. So you go through the experience, and sometimes to you know that this is a trap. You don't go through traps, you go around traps. So this book gives you that, I mean, eye-opener to the things that could befall you in the workplace. And that is one of the motivation. The other motivation is also to do with how leaders think that followers see them. Because you could see yourself as a leader, but you find out being a loner. Because you're taking a walk nobody is following. How do you lead without turning to find out whether everybody is in line? How do you do that? It's about influence. So this book also gives the leader some kind of room to nurture his influence skills. And when that is done, the followers can always follow. And the third thing that is also interesting to me, myself, is that we have a lot of leaders, and especially in my space, people just get into the workplace, they rise to the top, they retire, and they die. They don't leave anything behind. Leave a legacy. That is the footprints in the sands of time. So basically, these are some of the things that actually motivated some of us to write, so that people can also have a handbook and then walk, through the woods with a certain direction. And that is why I wrote this book.
Well, that's why he wrote this book. In case you just tuned in, you are watching the book review show on Precious TV. We are also live on Facebook, so just go to Precious TV, and we are live. We are live. Share the link. Let's just have fun. If you want to contribute, you can also go to Precious TV. You can see the link there. Just comment. You can also do so via WhatsApp on 020-343-8710. They say I talk fast, so let me slow down. 020-343-8710. At the appropriate time, the phone lines will be activated, so please do not call the WhatsApp or text line. Richard Ahenkorah is with me here in the studio, and we are discussing the journey to the top. Okay, so before we came live on air, you were telling me about some of the challenges you had to go through. Said you faced an attack, and this book was supposed to come out in 2014. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, actually, I started putting this book together in 2011, and I had a timeline because basically those who work with me, they know how I work. So I wanted it to be out in 3 years' time. So I was looking to publish this and getting it to the readers and to the public somewhere in 2014. I had a situation where I think at that time I had been transferred. I used to work with Beige Capital, and I used to be the head of region. So I was being promoted to come to head office to take over the role as a chief business officer. So I have packed all my stuff and I've gotten them in my car, getting home, and so that I could just prepare, and the next day I'll be coming back. And I had a situation where some armed men followed me and then attacked me.
They followed you? Yeah, they didn't come to your house, or they followed you to the house?
I think they know my routine. They know how I stay at work not very late, but I get to get some of these things done for myself when I need a peaceful space to work. And because of the way I do so many stuff, sometimes 24 hours is not getting too much for some of us, so we try to squeeze and get certain things done. So I think they knew my routine, and then they followed me, and then followed me to my home. At that time I had my own personal laptop, they took it. The company laptop, they took it. They took my hard drives, 2 external drives that I keep it for. They took it. They took my pen drive as well. So I didn't have anything.
Are you sure they didn't target to take something? They were looking for something, I guess.
It was beyond that. I'm even much more interested in the things that I lost. That's the knowledge. But they took a lot of some fiscal cash, not a lot. I think it was 5,200 at that time. And then they took, but it was money anyway, serious money. Because I needed it. I needed it for something, And the next day, the following day was a holiday. And so it was tight for me, and they took that, and they took my bags and some books, because they took the man bag. They took a lot of stuff from me, but then again I had kept it in the clouds, so I just went in retreat. But it was not the edited version that was kept, so I need to take my time and edit it again. And just in the process, I was a chief business officer. Thankfully, by the time it's coming out now, I'm a managing director. So you should know that even the content have been enriched.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's good. Everything worked together for good. And I was able to come out with this book. And I think it looks much more better than if it was published in 2014. That one I can attest to that. New things had been learnt, and the new experiences have also been had and shared. So this is what is making this book better than even before. So the timing is right. It was not the time for it to come out.
The timing is indeed right. So. Yeah, the timing is indeed right. If you are out there watching via Facebook, watching on TV, know that everything works together for good. We are looking into the corporate world today about our journey to the top, and I have Mr. Richard Ahenkorah with me in the studio, and we are looking at his latest book. It's not been launched though, it's fresh, it's still in the oven, so you're very fortunate. And I just like to reiterate that tomorrow this show will be repeated 2 to 3 p.m. so do stay tuned. Right after church, come and sit near the set and let's roll. Okay, so we are delving into the book. That's what I'm interested in. Okay, so we have about 10 chapters in the book. Can we just do a quick review rundown of it to tease our viewers for them to come to the launch and buy the book?
Sure. Basically, this book, Your Journey to the Top, it's not my journey, it's your journey. So when you read the book, you see a lot of yourself in it. And honestly, what the workplace presents is not too different from other, all institutions have similar characteristics. And so this book looks at, one, the external environment, it looks at the internal environment, and then looks at you yourself. If we're doing strategic management, I could say that we are looking at the macro, the meso, and then the micro.
We are in the lecture hall.
Thank you. So basically, this is actually taking us into the softer side of life. And at the workplace, you need to equip yourself with the hard skills and then the soft skills. The soft skills are the very difficult skills to develop. And that is what this book is doing. And it said, don't look too far. Look close to you. So you realize that from chapter 1 to 5, we look at nature and then how we can pick up from there.
That's my favorite chapter.
From the animals, from the birds, and the fishes that we have. It gives you, it gives you a lot of learning lessons. And their fishes are just not there to feast on them or to eat them. You can learn a lot from them. And so a lot had been said about them. And then again, we have practical experiences in the workplace, from managing a team, managing yourself, team conflict resolution. It even goes further to talk about discipline. Time management, leadership itself, how to build yourself as a leader, to manage situations, and then to manage followers. Every time we discuss leadership and then we take away the situation and the follower. But you cannot be a good leader if you don't have control over your followers and then your situation. And the situation is very ambiguous. Every time it's getting complicated. So they will tell you it is complex, it is ambiguous, it is volatile, and what is even making it difficult is uncertain. So we use the VUCA to do that. The VUCA, the volatility, the uncertainty, how complex it is, and also how ambiguous it is. This book gives you that map. So before you set to the next space, you know where you are going. People take new roles without getting to know the challenges that come with it. For example, you say you want to be a media person. I want to be an entertainment journalist. Entertainment journalist, it means that every night when they are doing VGMA, you are not sleeping. When they're doing, so you should know all the things that come with it before you get in, so that you don't get in and find yourself frustrated. For example, the cameraman doing a very wonderful job here. I admire to be a cameraman. You should know early this morning. You are here by 5. No, I mean someone watching me. But there are things I admire to do anyway. But those are the things that I'm saying. Anything that you want to become, you should prepare yourself towards it, so that you are prepared before the opportunity arrives.
Wow, interesting book out there. Your Journey to the Top is the book that you have to get to. You can get a copy after the launch. It's not been launched at all. So, Charlie, we are fortunate. It's the book review show right here on Precious TV. And this show serves you with the latest literature, from mathematics to poetry to Christian religion to RME. It spans across all genres of literature. So this is the show for you. If you're a book lover, if you're an author, you want to market your book, this is the show for you. The Journey to the Top by Richard Ahenkorah is the book we are looking at, and I hope we have it on screen. You can see up close the back cover, the front cover. It's a wonderful book. So we have it on the screen, so kindly just review it. It's a book review show. We are reviewing everything from cover to inside to outside. Okay, all right. So, okay. So while reading, you talked about leadership, the corporate world, how to manage situations. And some of the things that I've realized is that, you know, it's like people aren't prepared, as you mentioned earlier, before they get to the corporate world or embrace certain situations, because some want to be entrepreneurs, some don't know what they are about. So if, let's say, a task is given to someone, you're a manager, you've given someone a task, and you're expecting the person to deliver, but the person feels, I'm not assigned to do, I'm not an expert in this, or I got here by chance. Do you advise the person that, okay, since you say you are a footballer, go be the footballer you are, or you can, you know, mold something out of that person's situation or that person himself? Wonderful.
I mean, these are real situations, and when you go into my book, you see that I deal with some of this in very practically, because I believe that dealing with issues too abstract doesn't work. So in a situation like this, normally my question becomes, how did the person get in? Was it through an interview? Of course, if everything should work in the workplace, people get into the workplace through certain processes. The selection process must work. So the person comes in. If it was through an interview, the key things that you look at is the person to job fit analysis. The person to job fit analysis. Is the person coming in fitting the job role that is there and the task that the person is going to assign? If that was the basis for which you employ the person, these issues don't come in. But it may be in the process. The company is growing, the company is expanding. They don't want to hire people in, so they may want to, I mean, kind of deploy people to certain roles and all that. It calls for engagement. It calls for agreement. And based on that, targets and KPIs should be set. But unless the company, you don't set KPIs, you don't set targets, and you don't care about how the person does, then you just throw some person in. Is it a form of punishment? What are you seeking to achieve? If that objective is not clearly defined, that is where we have some of these issues coming up. But sometimes too, leaders see people what they can become, and therefore they have to now find a way to nurture them to be. But there should be an agreement. There are instances that I have moved someone from a tailoring role to go back to do a customer service person, come out to do a customer service manager, and the person is a branch manager, because I saw the person has a certain character that I want to build, some trait that would help the person build a skill set. The person didn't see it. But you see, you have to have a discussion before. So you can tell the person, look, I want to move you from being a duck to an eagle, not a bigger duck, a duck to an eagle, changing that. You can have that discussion.
Is that possible? It's possible. Changing.
It's possible.
You mentioned not from a little duck to a bigger duck, but
even to an eagle.
What if I'm a duck?
It's the mindset. So at that time, at that point, you start working on the mindset. There had been a lot of literature about certain research that had been seen and also confirmed where it was assumed, for example, if a chick grows in the midst of eaglets and then an eagle, eventually they start flying, and when the eagles start growing in the midst of a hen, mother hen, and the chicks, when the chick is flying, you see the baby eaglet on the ground, just because the mindset is that I am with that. And so you need to change the person's sometimes situation and the mindset. But the mindset is key. The mindset, you need to try and move the person's mind, which becomes a new mind shift. You work on the mind shift and bring it back again, it becomes the mindset. How do you paint that picture? Leaders should learn to also manage their skills. And their skills, when they manage it, they are able to also infect or affect the team that they manage. In doing that, it calls for always painting a compelling vision. Not for yourself, not for the company, but for every individual. Have the discussion to say that this is where you are. within the next 2-3 years, this is where I want you to be. But before you can be that, there are certain analysis I have to do with you. We call it the gaps analysis. The gaps analysis will determine the goals, the abilities, the perception, the standards, whether the person have this. And sometimes when you do the gaps analysis, you find out the gaps within the gaps. Because when there is a goal, what is the gaps within the goal? When it's abilities, what's the gaps? And then you train people. I think what I've seen our workplace here, we don't do much, but had been some of the hallmark in big companies in UK in particular, and in US, it's about training and then continuous development.
Yeah, I strongly agree on that, because someone can be, let's say in a company, go there, let's say in 2014, 2018, the person is still the same, the person hasn't learned. And you know, even though you want to learn on your own and improve yourself, the company has to, you know, you have to feel that you're a part, so that when they invest in you, you feel they value you. But if they don't, you tend to look down on it and like,
Thank you, Carol. That's one of the things my book addresses.
Yeah.
The workplace is moving so fast, due to the two dramatic forces of globalization and then technology. So today, oh, you wake up, there's a merger. Oh no, it's even not a merger, it's an acquisition. Oh no, it's that. Oh, it's that. Things start changing. New shareholders, roles start changing. Organograms start changing. And then, so if you are not quick to equip yourself with the skills, they may leave you behind. No company has the time to always get everybody along. Not everybody along. And the technology today is that, and even let's use even phones, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, iPhone 12, iPhone 13, iPhone 12, everything keeps changing. So what it means is that, like what you said, HR hasn't got that time to develop every individual in the institution. No. HR can only develop people that they know they can help them achieve the organizational goal. So everybody in the institution must now know that the time has come for self-development. Yes. So you need to invest in yourself. After all, when you leave a company, you go with your head. They can take your car, take your laptop, take your company, they take their company from you, but you go with your knowledge. So there should be a deliberate attempt in developing yourself. Now the question is, how do I develop myself? We are not saying formal education is always the way. It is part, but you can have tacit education. Tacit knowledge is when you're working under A and you start learning the way A does things. Because you see, when there's a vacancy in the workplace and the company want to fall on someone in the workplace, they look out for someone who can do the job. And when you cannot do the job, that's when they look out for someone else. But when you can do the job, they let you do the job for some time, and now they look out for your skill set. Oh, what is your certificate? What do you have so far? Oh, you don't have this. We'll help you bridge it and all that. What it also means is that if we have to move to the next stage of our career or even develop, we just have to ensure that we learn what our line managers are doing. That alone gives you an opportunity any point in time.
Wow, these are extremely wonderful business tips. And if you are out there, if you are an HR, as he said, if you are a business executive, you are a headhunter, if you are me, yes, this is the book for you, The Journey to the Top, written by Mr. Richard Kwarteng Ahenkorah. Okay, I just like you to share a bit of your experience, your leadership experience with us.
Yeah, basically I am a people person, and I'm also a numbers person.
Okay, I know what people person is, and I think I may know what numbers.
You know, Carol.
Is it numbers?
Numbers as in numbers.
Numbers as in numbers.
Like, I like my targets, I like to achieve them.
Your timeline.
So I like my timeline. I like the hard part, I like the soft part. And that is a mark of a competent manager. If you like people, you don't like the task, you are a cheerleader.
If you like people, and you don't like the task,
you become a cheerleader and you become a country club manager. You're managing, oh, Kojo, how are you? That's all you do, but the numbers suffer. And you also don't have to be seen as a taskmaster. You like only the task, you don't like the people. There should be a very fine balance where you like the people and at the same time you like the job. So the job should not suffer. So it depends on how you tie in your motivational skills. Which one should come first? And there are a lot of theories to do that. And the theories are so practical. They are so practical and not abstract, so we need to just use them. I am that type. I like to always get to know what goes on in the head of my follower, and I do it simple and it comes natural that you may not see. It's about relationship, and at the same time it's about demanding the numbers, and it's about also being, truthful with them. and opened with them. Kojo, from this month to this month, I expect you to achieve that. If you're able to achieve A, B, C, D, I will make sure A, B, C, D, or X, Y, Z would also be given to you. When that is done, achieve that.
But let's say you are interviewed. People are watching.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a job.
Okay.
I go for the interview. They say I'm starting on Monday.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a marketer, I'm an editor, I'm a writer, and I'm not given targets. Is it a shortfall on the company side, or I have to find my own, as you're talking about self-development, maybe I know what I'm supposed to do, but is the company supposed to give me, you know, a target that, okay, by mid-May we are supposed to get that, and you are responsible for it? Because sometimes people complain that they go and they are just hanging. They are just hanging.
Cara, I'll throw something to you. Look, life is actually even boring without targets. To start with, one is the responsibility of the company to give you the targets. They give you the KPIs, they run you through the orientation, and after that they assign your job description to you, and this is what goes into your job. If you don't have that, then there's a challenge in the company. There should be that, because those are the things that form the fundamentals of every institution that seek to operate over a long period of time, because it's part of the structure, it's part of the system, it's part of the company's values. What kind of company value are you building? Is it a purpose? I mean, I'm looking at performance-driven institution. If it is, then you should always let people know what is expected of them. But then again, as someone joining an institution, there is something called the onboarding process. Sometimes we miss it. We start institutions and we just get in and assume everything should just happen. If I'm not told, I'm just there. The onboarding process gives you room before you even join a company. That's the 0 to minus 30 days. I call it minus 30 days because that is not when the 0 or 1, 2, 3 days starts. Because when you have your appointment letter, most of the time you are waiting on 30 days or 1 month to start. So within that 1 month, you do pre-hire data analysis. You start checking on what the company is about. You check on who is going to supervise you, the organogram of the institution, where do you fall in the organizational structure, and then what does your job role entails. If you are able to do this perfectly, when you get into the job, your first day will be like a party. Sometimes we set the traps for us. Our first day before you start work, make sure you see your boss before you start work. Make sure you do that. It is a tip that people don't know. And so you get to the workplace and you start having issues for yourself. You get to the workplace, HR takes you around, do the induction, take you to your office, and they say, there's your seat, and you sit down. No. Find your boss. If your boss is not in, text him, WhatsApp him, email him. Do a contact with your boss. Let your boss tell you that. Tell him, hi, Mr. Ahenkorah. I'm at work today. I'm supposed to start today. I just got in. I realized you're not. And let him say, oh, really? Thank you for coming. Find my PA, talk to this, or look at the seat right there and sit down. Let your boss be the first person to tell you where to sit. But some will sit down, their boss will come in late, the boss will ask them, and they say, oh, don't you know I'm coming? I'm supposed to start today. You are telling your boss, he knows, but he's just watching your attitude. So if you're not careful, all the goodies that would have been yours, you start missing them from day one because you got it wrong. And these are some of the practical tips that this book is giving you.
So you have to get the book, but amazing how time flies. I'm really enjoying this lecture, but could you give us a little bit about the launch and maybe where we can get the book to
Brilliant. For now, actually, we were waiting for the launch to happen on 31st of March, which of course has been confirmed at La Palm. La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
Labadi.
Yes, Labadi. And it's going to be 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is for 30 minutes networking. Normally, people keep their cocktail for item 13. I do it item 1 so that you get served before the program starts. So we start at 12:30 and then 1:30 we are off and we are done. So I'll be happy to find you there and get one. For the book, we wanted to start selling them actually on 31st after the launch. But people have just gotten into our space, and if I wrote this book for the people, I have to let it go. So I'm doing some pre-launch sales. If you just email your journey to the top 2018 at gmail.com, immediately you just email, a mail will pop up, and then they'll give you a phone number that you can do your mobile money, and they will deliver it to you. Secondly, you can also get it on Book Nook bookstore. I mean, you just Google, you find it, you can order from there. And also after 31st, you'll be finding it also on Amazon. And then you can get one. On Amazon, I think it's $9.99, and you can just have the e-copy as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. Wonderful having you, Mr. Richard.
I wish to autograph or sign one for you. That one in particular. I just want that.
It's an honor.
Yes, let me do that. Let me do the soft. Well, this one, the more yet to come out. When you come to the launch, you get free of that.
Okay.
So let me just do that for you. Yes, for you.
Okay. So while he's autographing, this is the book review show right here on Precious TV. We are live on Facebook, so just go to Precious TV. Also live on the book review show GH on Facebook. Like us, follow us. I mean, just keep us going. We're going for a quick break. We'll be back with Cooking Jollof with Jesus with Jesse Addo-Okyere. I'm Caroline Owusu Asamoah. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Welcome back to the book review show. We had our first book, Your Journey to the Top, by Richard quoting Ahenkorah, with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. In case you just tuned in, this is the book review show, and on this show we serve you with the latest literature, all genres, any topic. I mean, this is a rich show where you can develop yourself, you can develop your knowledge, you can develop every good thing about yourself. So we are having our second book, and we have an interesting lady, gender balance. We had a male first, now we have a lady, an awesome lady who's also written her first book, her maiden book, and she goes by the name Jesse Addo-Okyere. She has an MPhil in English. Charlie, today she's going to mark my English. But well, we have Jessie with her book Cooking Jollof with Jesus. I don't know why it's not Banku, because it's my favorite, but Jessie is with me here. Hello Jessie, good morning.
Hello, Caroline.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Cooking Jollof with Jesus, interacting with God.
Yeah.
Before we go to why not Banku or Fufu, but Jollof, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Jesse Addo-Okyere. I always like to start with my family. Okay. So I belong to a family of 6. Obviously my parents, and then there's 4 children. I'm the second, which is the first girl. And I always like to put my birthday out a lot too, because it's something I have in common with Jesus.
What could it be?
25th December. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. And I love people. I love God. Yeah.
And you love jollof?
I do love jollof, but it's actually not my favorite. So it's interesting that I had to write about jollof.
Okay, so this, it wasn't because it was your favorite food, that's why you had to write about it?
No, that's not why, yeah.
But you studied English. I love it. Why English? Why not jollof, culinary skills or something else? Yeah. You know, I heard from a little bird that you're training to be a pastor. Is that true?
Honestly, my life, I don't know, it's still taking shape, okay? And originally, the first time that someone asked me what I wanted to do, I think I was in JY, Presby, Junior Youth, at the time. I think I had come out of SS, and then a question was put to me that what did I want to be? And then I don't know, for some reason I just said a lecturer. And I stuck with that. So I had that at the back of my mind. That's why I had to pursue. First I did obviously I did my first degree, English and philosophy, and then when I had to further, I had to choose which one I would want to do, and I don't know, somehow I just felt more comfortable with English, and I decided to pursue the MPhil degree. I don't have the certificate yet, but I'm almost, I should graduate this year, God willing. And
I'll be there.
yeah, I still have a PhD to do.
Okay.
Yeah, but along the line, you know, certain things happened which drew me closer to God, and a ministry was birthed. It's called Golden Vessel of Honor Ministries. And one of the things that God told me I would do is write books. And I like to share this as a testimony. Even though I did English, I'm not someone who loved to read growing up.
Oh.
I'm not someone who used to write growing up. So this is really something that showed me that this is God and this is what He wants you to do. And I've just followed suit, and it's been awesome. I remember the first time the title came to me. You know, people ask me, how did I come up with the title? I'm like, it just came to me. And after that, that's how God gives me the titles. I have about 3 titles now. Well, I started the second book, and that's just how it happens. I get the title, and then one day I'm start writing, and then I start writing, and then it goes from there. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right, in case you just tuned in, we are looking at Cooking Jollof with Jesus by Jesse Addo-Okyere. Sorry, pardon me. It's the book review show right here on Precious TV. We're live on Facebook, so just comment, drop your comment, and let's get it kicking. Okay, so Cooking Jollof. I will author a book, and I will name it Cooking Banku with Caroline, because it's my favorite food. Anyway, okay, so it's a quick read, a 30-minute read.
Yes.
Let's look at interacting with God. How did the book come about?
Okay. So like I said earlier, the title came to me. In fact, it was on a visit to the UK. How many years? 4 years. About 4 years ago, no. Oh, yeah, 4 years ago. And about. You know,
okay.
Our first guest said he's good with numbers. I'm not.
You are not good with, you are good with people.
So I'll say about.
Okay.
Yeah, and I visited family, and I was there, and then it just came that I had to start writing this book. So it came as a title, like I said before, and then one day I just started typing, and then typing away. So I didn't finish. I came back. I was there for about 3 months, came back to Ghana, and completed it. So it was completed, but it was sitting on my laptop. So it was just last year I had to travel again, and you know, sometimes I just get the feeling I have to go, and I go. In fact, when I was going, I didn't know I was going to publish it or launch it or anything of a sort. I was going on a visit again. So while I was there, it just came to me that, I had to publish and I had to launch. And this was a short time, but well, here we are. Yeah, so by the grace of God, I started, and then I completed it. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's delve into it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Basically, this book has just 4 chapters, so it shouldn't take you. You could just read it in the car, in the troski, while waiting for the lecturer to come to class. So, Cooking Jollof with Jesus, voices, drowning the noise, obeying His voice. Let's do a quick rundown through that.
So, okay. Maybe I'll just go a step backwards to the introduction. So, introduction, I tell you that, of course, it's not a cookbook, because when people hear the title, they're wondering if they're going to get a recipe.
Yeah.
And I tell them, oh no, it's not what you're thinking.
Well, that is Ghana Jollof.
Yeah.
Jollof.
But then you go into the first chapter, and then you have the actual Cooking Jollof experience, which happened somewhere in my teens. It's a long time ago. And it was a Saturday morning, it wasn't a usual one, because we're having visitors come over, like my cousins and my aunties were coming over, and my mom asked me to cook jollof, and it was my first time, and she just walked out of the house and left me with the ingredients, and the jollof turned out well. Like, not like I'm blowing my horn, but it turned out well. Everybody wanted more. I had to hide some away, even for my aunties who were going to come back to get in and everything. So later, fast track.
Fast forward.
When I started writing the book, God reminded me of that experience, and that's what I used to explain, you know, how God can guide us to do whatever it is that we can do. So it's basically about interacting with God. So imagine you're in the kitchen with God and He's walking you through the process, because the Word of God says that, in fact, the Holy Spirit will teach you all things. The Holy Spirit is the Spirit of God, was sent, is Jesus' Spirit. So in effect, He's the one walking us through all of that. So yeah. So that's a bit of chapter 1. And then chapter 2, we have voices, and where I explain that there are different voices that come to us, and these are, through these voices, God talks to us. And you know, obviously the devil also has his way of talking to us through these voices. So I talk about the different kinds of voices that we can hear. And then moving on to the next chapter, which is drowning the noise. I divide it into 2, where, okay, you're sure you're hearing the voice of God, but then there's so many things that He's asking you to do. In fact, I put it in the book that when the assignment Golden Vessel of Honor Ministries came, I was so overwhelmed, and I didn't know where to start. Yeah, so that's where the noise is. You're hearing so many things which are coming from God, but which one do you do first? I show how you can do that. And then on the other side of drowning the noise, I explain how you can be able to sift the voice of God and then obviously the voice of the devil, because I believe there are 2 forces that are working in our world today, the force from God and then the force from the evil one. So you should be able to tell which voice is coming from God and which one is coming from the other side. Not to dwell too much on him, because that's irrelevant. But basically is to be able to sift the voices. And then we move on to the last chapter, which is, I'll say, it's the most important, because when someone gives you a set of instructions to do, the end of what he's expecting you to do is to do. And that's what God requires us to do. So the last chapter is obeying God's voice, which is the ideal, because you can actually hear from God and then not do. So that's a sum of what's in there.
Okay, so that's a quick summary of Cooking Jollof with Jesus by Jesse Addo-Okyere. Well, I just want to find out, Jesse, you talked about there's so many things, and I can imagine, or maybe I say I feel that while you were talking about hearing so many voices and it's overwhelming, it just took you somewhere. Could you recall a time when there were so many things you were hearing aside the vessels ministry? Which other things? And relate with the viewers. What do you have for someone? I mean, it's crowded, it's clouded. I mean, there are and there are both. But how do you deal with that? You talked about sifting. I know you have it in the book. Just share excerpt of how you can sift. Someone may be having a lot to do, but the person doesn't know, okay, do I do this first? These people are saying this. What do I do?
Okay, so the anchor scripture of the book, which is Philippians 4:7, says that the peace of God that passeth all understanding will guard your hearts. And that's how I've been able to deal with the voices, because it's this peace you feel in your hearts. I know it's not easy to come to that place, but there's a kind of peace that you feel in your heart, which will guide you to which choice to do. And you know, sometimes people say, oh, it's not like these choices are, you know, you need to choose from a good choice and a bad choice. They are all good choices. And you're wondering which one to do. And I can't remember. It's not an easy. It's not an easy thing. I can't remember. There was a day, one of my friends, he called me and he had to choose between which job. He had 2 job offers, and obviously one was higher, was offering more, and and one was offering less. Yeah, and he had to choose. And no, what actually happened was that he was in a job and he wanted to move on to the next one. Yeah, but the job didn't give him the amount or the target that he wanted. So he called me and asked what to do about it, whether he should stay with the old job or still accept their offer, which wasn't up to where he was expecting. And I just told him, I think he was expecting me to say, choose this or choose that. But that's one thing that God has taught me not to do. Like, he's taught me to encourage people to hear from him as well,
but not just make the decisions for them.
For people. So I just said, you know what, I told him about the scripture and asked him to just go with the one he feels at peace with, even if it doesn't make sense at the point. And I also told him that Bible says that those that delight themselves in the Lord, he shall grant them the desires of their hearts. So obviously it was a good desire, and if it's in the will of God, you feel at peace with it. And he turned the offer down, and just before the week ended, they called him back and took it to where he wanted it to go.
Wow.
So it's really about that peace, and you can't have it if you are not in God. So I'll appeal to everybody. You need to get in God.
Wow. It's a quick read. It's the book review show right here on Precious TV with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. For more details about the show, you can send WhatsApps or you can call. Please don't call now. That's for details. You can call 020-343-8710. I take it again, 020-343-8710. And the show is on repeat this and every Sunday right after church, 2 to 3 p.m. So please don't miss out, 2 to 3 p.m. In case you missed out, maybe you are in the aeroplane and you are landing tomorrow, you can catch us 2 to 3 p.m. So I'm with Madam Cooking Jollof with Jesus, Jessie Addo-Okyere. Okay, Jessie.
Yeah.
Now we've looked at obeying the voice of God.
Yeah.
Now, here goes the most difficult.
Yeah.
You know you can't do it. You know everything has been made possible, for you to be able to obey.
Yeah.
But now, you look to the left, it's like, how do they say, you are between the devil and the deep blue sea, yet you are being asked to obey. How do you obey when everything seems contrary to what you've been asked to do?
Yeah. You take the first step.
Hey, Jessie, just take it.
You take the
please.
You take the first step. As little as that step may seem to you, take the first step. If the first step is I don't know, typing A from a letter alpha, put that A down. I don't know. I want you to understand what I mean by take the first step. As little as the effort may seem to you, take the first step. And I don't know. Well, that's how God has dealt with me. When I said I was going to do this book, I didn't have a pound. I was in the UK. But I took the first step.
Okay.
I decided to look out for publishers on the internet. And I never looked for publishers before. In fact, the first publishers I got said they wouldn't publish
They rejected it.
But it did not put me down.
Wow.
Funny enough, because I know, when you're sure, or when you're sure of what you've heard, it gives you some confidence.
Yeah.
So I remember, I can imagine, in fact, I remember sitting on the couch when I just received the email that they wouldn't publish.
Ouch.
Of course, it did something in me.
Ouch.
Yeah, there was a tug. But I just, quickly put myself together. And then I just thought of some lady I met at an event I attended in the UK, a Dr. Tumi concert that I went to. But the lady who put it together, I just felt like I should give her a call and ask her if she knows anybody who publishes books. And right there, she gave me a contact. I called. I sent the manuscript. The person agreed to do it the next day. And one thing led to another. When she asked for the money she was going to take, I didn't have it. But I said, okay. Because one thing, I don't know, maybe I'm a woman of faith as well. But the whole obedience thing, it's moved by faith, and faith is action. Bible says that faith without works is dead. So what are you doing to show that, oh, you believe that this is what God is saying I should do? No matter how little it may look or insignificant it may look, just take it. Yeah, take it.
So, Madam Jollof says you should take the first step. Do not fear. Just listen to the voice, and the voice that told you to go knows what you're capable of. So just take the first step. It's the book review show right here on Precious TV with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah, your #1 book review show in the world, not just in Ghana, but in the world. You can get the latest literature here. You can get book marketing secrets. You could even win a free book. The next time Jessie comes on, she's going to give free books, and callers can call. And we will also repeat it tomorrow after church, 2 to 3 p.m. After you've cooked the jollof or the fufu, you can sit down and watch us.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jessie, amazing how time flies, but how can we get the book? How much does it go for? And then maybe final words to the viewers.
Okay. So right now, apart from it being on Amazon, it's available in 3 Presbyterian churches. There's Atomic Hills Estate Presby Church, where I fellowship. Currently, earlier on you said something like I was training to be a pastor.
Oh, so the little bird was right.
The little bird was
right.
I'm currently at Agape House New Testament Church at East Legon, undergoing the course. But to get the copies, go to Atomic Hills Estate Presby Church. That's where I fellowship. And then Osu Ebenezer Presby Church, also at Osu. And then Medina Emmanuel Presby Church at Medina. Currently we are in Accra, but I'm sure with time we'll move.
I was about to ask, how about people who don't have internet and are outside Accra?
Because people have been asking from Cape Coast, from Kumasi, and Tamale. We are trying. We'll definitely get it out there. But currently, that's where you can get copies. And I don't know. My last words is just appreciation. First of all, to God and my family. And I cannot get off the show without acknowledging Arthur Ralph Entry. He wrote the forward for me, and people talk about books and then they just skip some. They don't even read the introduction. They don't they don't read the forward, but you should read the forward that Arthur Ralph wrote, and he's been very supportive. I remember when the idea came to write the book, I asked him whether I could publish and launch within the space of time, and he said I can. I just needed those words, and that's what moved me to, get where I am. I want to say thank you to all my friends, also my family, everybody who has supported me on this journey. I say thank you, really grateful. Thank you to Precious TV as well, and you as well.
Before you run away, your final words to someone watching you. Maybe the person is about to cook the jollof, but isn't sure. Final words, brief final words.
God has a purpose for each and every one of us here on earth. Don't be deceived. And Bible says that before you were even conceived, God knew us. And so we need to, I always say any machine that comes out, of course, it comes with a manual. It's cliche. People give this example all the time, but it's a really good example. God is our creator, and He has a manual, which is the Bible, which is primarily that's the basic way God talks to us anyway. There are other ways which I share in the book audibly and all of that, but that's the basic way. Let's get to it. Let's get to the Bible. Let's have a relationship with God. Let's see what He wants us to do, because He brought you here to do something, and until you get close to Him to find out what it is, you may just end up wandering on this earth and then not doing it, and He's not going to be happy with you. So let's get close to God.
All right, Jessie, thanks so much for honoring our invitation and coming on the show. And I know that people have been blessed, and they're going to reach you from all over the world. Thanks so much for joining us.
All the best. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. So we just had Mama Jollof. We looked at Jesse Addo-Okyere's book, Cooking Jollof with Jesus, and it's a must-have. Earlier, we had Your Journey to the Top, written by Richard Ahenkorah. So you can get your copies. You can call 020-343-8710 for more details. That's 020-343-8710, or you can also call 0231151615. If you want to get on the show, if you want to find out more details, if you want to sponsor, yes, bring the money to boost this wonderful program, the book review show, right here on Precious TV with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. And don't forget a repeat tomorrow, Sunday, 18th March 2018, 2 to 3 p.m. I repeat, 2 to 3 p.m. There's going to be a repeat. It's been an awesome edition. This is our first time on TV, on Precious TV. So tune in same time next week, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I nearly said 9 p.m. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me. It's the book review show right here on Precious TV with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. More books are coming next week. Do stay tuned. It's bye-bye and ta-ta from me. I love you. Bye. Hi. I'm so excited. It's a beautiful Saturday morning with me, Caroline Owusu Asamoah. In case you just tuned in, it's Precious TV and it's the book review show. I've been longing so much for this. And if you know that you just tuned in, today's your first time, congratulations, because it's my first time on air as well, on TV. Yeah, it's the book review show, which aired on Sweet Melodies 94.3 FM. But hold up, we'll be on Sweet Melodies. It will be recorded as well, but we are live on Precious TV. We're also live on Facebook, so you just go to Precious TV on Facebook and you're just going to get the link. It's live on Facebook. And good news is it's repeated this and every Sunday. That's tomorrow, 2 to 3 p.m. So about the show, I have an interesting guest. Well, I have two interesting guests here with me, and we are going to discuss two wonderful books. I don't know if my cameraman can zoom in to this book that I'm holding by a very renowned life coach. I'm honored to have him here in the studio. He goes by the name of Mr. Richard Kwating Ahenkorah, and we'll be having a wonderful discussion. We'll also be having a book by Miss Jesse Addo-Okyere on Cooking Jollof with Jesus. I know that title, you know, just sent some thoughts in your mind, but we're going to have an interesting discussion. I have Mr. Richard Kwating Ahenkorah. We had a few technical challenges, but man, we're back, grace and thanks to God. So I have him here in the studio with